The year 2000 witnessed one of the darkest chapters in Pakistan's criminal history, a tale of brutality that seemed to have no end. Javed Iqbal, a man whose name would forever be linked to terror, confessed to the unimaginable, the systematic torture and murder of 100 children. His story was one of manipulation, deceit, and calculated cruelty. Javed Iqbal, a former driver with a criminal history, began his horrifying spree in 1999. Preying on vulnerable boys, mostly street children, he would lure them with promises of food, shelter, or employment. The victims, often as young as 6 years old, trusted him, unaware that they were walking straight into a trap. Iqbal, with his methodical approach, would abduct the boys and imprison them in his home. There, they were subjected to horrific abuse. His victims were kept captive, tortured, and ultimately killed. After his heinous acts, Iqbal would dispose of their bodies using a method that could only be described as chilling. Iqbal's preferred method of eliminating his victims was gruesome. After killing them, he would dismember their bodies and dissolve the remains in acid, rendering any identification impossible. He kept photographs of the children, documenting each of his crimes. He claimed, in his confession, that he had disposed of the bodies in such a way that the authorities would never find them. Iqbal's twisted justification for his actions? He claimed that his victims had no value in society. To him, they were nothing more than tools to satiate his dark desires. By December 1999, Iqbal decided to contact the police, sending a letter to the authorities and a local newspaper, confessing his crimes. He claimed he was tired of living in fear, and for him, turning himself in seemed to be the only way out. The news was shocking. A nationwide manhunt was launched. Police from all over Pakistan came together, but Javed Iqbal was elusive. Despite their best efforts, no one could catch him. For weeks, he remained a step ahead, slipping through the cracks of the country's most dedicated law enforcement agencies. Enter Abid Boxer, a man whose name became synonymous with accurate police encounters. Boxer was known for his unmatched skill in capturing notorious criminals. His reputation as a no-nonsense, fearless officer made him one of the most trusted in Pakistan's law enforcement. Boxer, who was assigned to lead the search for Iqbal, was relentless. His strategic approach combined with his experience was a driving force in tracking down the notorious killer. Despite Iqbal's cunning attempts to hide, Boxer's team remained on high alert, closing in with every passing day. Abid Boxer's efforts were relentless. He knew the dangers and intricacies of capturing someone like Iqbal, and his team's coordinated efforts proved successful. It was only a matter of time before Javed Iqbal would be cornered. It was on December 30th, 1999, that Iqbal made an unexpected move. He walked into the offices of the Daily Jang newspaper and surrendered. In a letter to the police, he boldly declared his surrender, claiming he could no longer live in fear. His surrender was almost anticlimactic. After all the tension, he simply walked in, offering his own arrest, and it was a moment that stunned the nation. But even then, no one could predict the shocking developments that would follow. Iqbal's trial, held in 2000, was swift. His confession and the horrific details of his crimes were undeniable. He was sentenced to death. But in a bizarre twist, the judge ordered that Iqbal should be executed in the same manner he killed his victims, strangled with a chain, and then dismembered, his body dissolved in acid. The punishment, in its grotesque irony, was as horrific as the crimes he had committed. On October 9, 2001, just a year after his sentencing, Iqbal was found dead in his cell at the Kot Lokpat jail. His death, ruled a suicide by hanging, raised many eyebrows. The official reports suggested hanging, but the problem was that the cell had no point from which he could hang himself. No objects, no visible ropes, just plain walls. The marks on his neck, however, told a different story. The evidence of strangulation was clear. To this day, no one knows the full truth behind his death. Was it suicide, as the authorities claimed, or was it murder, orchestrated by someone with an agenda? The mystery remains unsolved, adding an eerie layer to his already chilling legacy. Javed Iqbal's legacy is one of fear, manipulation, and death. His crimes left a deep scar on the fabric of Pakistani society. Despite his death, the questions surrounding his life and the unsolved nature of his end remain a dark chapter in the history of the country.